Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 33 Sect of Jane Eyre and Autobiography.
As.
Ah.
Jane Eyre and Autobiography. Charlotte Brontë. Chap. 33 Sec 2. Of my own accord. Stay. To see important points written down. And the pocketbook was again deliberately produced. Opened. Sought through. Of paper. Hastily torn off. Of ultramarine. And laked. And vermilion. The ravish margin of the portrait cover. He got up. Held it close to my eyes. And I read. Traced in Indian ink. In my own handwriting. Worked doubtless of some moment of abstraction. He said, the advertisements demanded a Jane Eyre. Confess I had my suspicions. Once resolved into certainty. Isses. But where is Mr. Briggs? Perhaps knows more of Mr. Briggs is in London. Knowing anything at all about Mr. Rochester. It is not in Mr. Rochester he is interested. Maintain. You forget essential points in pursuing trifles. You do not inquire why Mr. What? Uncle. Wiste. Eyre of Madder. Is that you all his property? Yes. You. Silence succeeded. Identity, of course, resumes street. Shown presently. Difficulties. You can then enter on immediate position. The English ones. Here was a new card turned up. Fine thing. Reader. Very fine thing. But not a matter one can comprehend. Or consequently enjoy. All at once. Thrilling and rapture-giving. This is solid. An affair of the actual world. Nothing ideal about it. All its associations are solid and sober. Manifestations are the same. One does not jump. And spring. Hurrah! At hearing one has got a fortune. One begins to consider responsibilities. And to ponder business. Here's. And we can thank ourselves. For. Besides. The word's legacy. Bequest. Words. Death. Funeral. My uncle I had heard was deeply relative. Ever since being made aware of his existence. Of one day seeing him. And I never should. Money came only to me. Not to me and a rejoicing family. To my isolated self. It was a grand boon doubtless. The glorious days. I felt that swelled my heart. Last, said Mr. Rivers. I thought Medusa had looked at you. That you were turning to stone. A trifle. To speak of £20,000. 4 or 5,000. This news actually took my breath for a moment. Visste. Stru. Dan, whom I had never heard laugh before. Ah. Well, said he, if you had committed a murder, told you your crime was discovered. It is written in letters, at a table spread with provisions for 100. Visste. And put his cloak on. Belle. I would send Hannah down to keep you company. Desperately miserable to be left alone. But Hannah, poor woman, stride the dirt so well as I. Her legs are not quite so long. So I must as leave you to your sorrows. Asho. A sudden thought occurred to me. Stop 1 minute, I cried. Me to know why, mister. Bruce told you about me. He knew you. Or could fancy that you. Yes. Or I am a clergyman, he said. Appealed to about what matters. Again the latch rattled. No. Satisfy me, I exclaimed. Reply which, instead of allaying, piqued my curiosity more than ever. A very strange piece of business I did. No. Turned from the door. I placed myself between it and him, rather embarrassed. You certainly shall not go till you have told me all, I said. Of course these objections wrought my eagerness to a climax. Gratified it must be, and that without delay. And I told him so. That I was a hard man, said he. And then he pursued. I'm cold, whereas I am hot, and fired assault's ice. There has thawed all the snow from your cloak. By the same token, it has streamed onto my floor, and made it like a trampled street, as you prefer to be forgiven. Visste. Wervers. Crime and misdemeanor of spoiling a scented kitchen. Well, then he said, I yield. If not to your earnestness, to your perseverance, is worn by continual dropping. Besides, as they are. Of course, you are not. Perhaps. I'm your namesake, that I was christened Street. Well, indeed, singulatory, different times lent me, but I never asked for what name instead. But what then? I stopped. I could not trust myself to entertain, much less to express, the thought that wished to make that embodied itself with that. A second stood out a strong, solid probability. Circumstances that themselves fitted themselves, shot into order. From this lump of links was drawn out street chivalry ring was perfect. The connection complete. I knew, by instinct, how the matter stood. Before Street, John had said another word. Same intuitive perception. So I must repeat his explanation. My mother's name was Eyre. She had 2 brothers. One a clergyman who married Miss Jane Reed of Fitcheach. The other, John Eyre, a merchant of Fanshawe. Mada Wiste Wigs being Mr. our solicitor wrote to us last August to inform us of our uncle's death. Say that he had left his property to his brother the clergyman's often daughter, overlooking us in consequence of a quarrel. Never forgiven. My father. He wrote again a few weeks since. Eyre was lost, and asking if we knew anything of her. Casually written on a slip of paper has enabled me to find her out. You know the rest. Again he was going. The door. Do let me speak, I said. Draw a breath and reflect. I paused, stood before me, hat in hand. Composed enough. I resumed. My aunt. He bowed. Uncle John? You. Diana. And Mary are his sister's children. They. Then. Are my cousins. We are cousins. I surveyed him. It seemed I had found a brother I could love, and 2 sisters whose qualities were such that, when I knew them but as mere strangers, affection and admiration, the 2 girls, unknown, which ground, and looking through the low lattice window of Moorhouse kitchen, I had gazed with so bitter a mixture of interest and despair. My near kinswoman, dying at his threshold, was my blood relation. Glorious discovery to a lonely wretch. This both indeed, wealth to the heart, and mine of pure, genial affections. This was a blessing. Bright, vivid, gold, rich and welcome enough in its way. Would I now clapped my hands in sudden to a meeple's bandage. Thrilled. Oh, I am glad, I exclaimed. Stir. Sean smiled. Did I not say you neglected essential points to pursue trifles? He asked. Were serious when I told you had got a fortune. And now, for a matter of no moment, what can you mean? Of no moment to you. You have sisters and don't care for a cousin. But I had nobody. And now 3 relations to 2. She's to be counted or born into my world full grown. I say again. Walk fast through the room. I stopped. Rose faster than I could receive. Comprehend. Settle the mere thoughts of what might. It would and should be. And that how long? The blank wall. Mutual purpose or delight. Those who had saved my life. In. Till this hour. I had loved Burnley. I could not benefit. They were under a yoke, he could free them. They were scattered, he could reunite them. The independence. the affluence which was mine might be theirs too. Were we not four? £20,000 shared equally would be 5,000 each. Justice in awe and despair. Justice would be Doing's mutual happiness secured. Wealth did not weigh on me. Coinage was a legacy of life. Ulp. Enjoyment. Ideas were taking my spirit by storm. I cannot tell. Soon that Mr. Rivers had placed a chair behind me, attempting to make me sit down on it. Composed. I scorned the insinuation of helplessness and distraction, shook off his hand, and began to walk about again. Write to Diana and Mary tomorrow, I said, and tell them to come home directly. Themselves rich with £1,000. Glass of water, said Street. Tano. Nonsense. If it were the bequest of on you, will it keep you in England? Induce you to marry Miss Oliver? You wonder. Your head becomes confused. I have been too abrupt in communicating the news. With it, Revert quite put me out of patience. I am rational enough. You misunderstand. Perhaps if you explained yourself a little more fully. Explain it. What is there to explain? Cons. The sum in question of our uncle. We'll give 5,000 each. What I want is tea. I have intimated my view of the case, incapable of taking any other. I am not usually selfish, blindly unjust, or fiendishly ungrateful. Besides, connections. I like Morehouse, and I will lie that Morehouse. I like Diana and Mary, and May. It would please and benefit me to have £5,000. It would torment and oppress me to have 20,000. We do. Moreover, could never be mine injustice, though it might in law. See ye. Then, what is absolutely superfluous to me? No opposition, and no discussion about it. Let us agree amongst each other. This is acting on first impulses. A matter. Or, if all you doubt my sincerity, is I do see a certain justice. Custom. Besides, the entire fortune is your right. By his own efforts, he was free to leave it to whom he wished. He left it to you. After all, and you may, with a clear conscience. With me, said I, it is fully as much a matter of feeling as of conscience. Indulge my feelings. I so seldom have had an opportunity of doing so. Were you to argue, object, and annoy me for a year, could not forego the delicious pleasure of which I have caught a glimpse of that of repaying, in part, a mighty obligation. You think so now, rejoined Street. Tano. Because you do not know what it is to possess. To enjoy wealth would give you of the place it would enable you to take in society, of the prospects it would open to you. I knew, I interrupted. Cannot at all imagine the craving I have for fraternal and sisterly love. Never had a home. I never had brothers or sisters. We'll have them now. You are not reluctant to admit me and on me. Jane. Broiler. Yes. At the distance of 1,000 leagues. Sisters. Yes. Serving amongst strangers. I. Renden do not merit. You. Penniless. Famous equality and fraternization. Close union. Wait. Jane. Made he realize that the wise then by the means you contemplate. Anson. Again. Marry. I don't want to marry. That is saying too much. Is not saying too much. I know what I feel. Are my inclinations to the bare thought of marriage. Poor love. Money speculation. And I do not want his stringent sympathizing. Alien. Then. I want my kindred. Those with whom I have full flow feeling. Say again you will be my brother. Satisfied. Ape. Repeat them. If you can. I think I can. I know I have always loved my own sisters. What my affection for them is grounded respect for their worth and admiration of their talents. You two have principle and mind. Maze. Your presence is always agreeable to me. Already from time found a solitary solace. Naturally make room in my heart for you. Thank you. For tonight. Now you had better go. For if you stay longer. And the school. Miss Eyre? It must now be shut up.